The biting cold hits my face as the car door swings open, and I'm shoved out onto the gritty roadside. I gasp in shock, my hands instinctively cradling my swollen pregnant belly as I stumble and fall hard onto the frozen ground. "What are you doing?" I cry out, looking up at Darian's stern face staring down at me from the driver's seat. His eyes are cold and expressionless. "We can't do this anymore, Lila," he states bluntly. "It's over." I stare at him in stunned disbelief. "What are you talking about? I'm having your baby in less than a month." He shrugs, his nonchalant manner sending a chill down my spine colder than the winter wind. "Not my problem. You've become too much of a burden." "A burden?" I repeat incredulously. "I'm your wife." His lip curls in a sneer. "Some wife snooping around trying to control me and Tessa." I shake my head, confusion and panic rising inside me. "Control you? I've done nothing but support you both," he scoffs. "Don't play innocent. I'm on to you. You've never cared about either of us." My mind spins, struggling to make sense of his accusations. I think back to our whirlwind romance 2 years ago, how he'd swept me off my feet with his charm and promises of a fresh start. Widowed, with a distant teenage daughter, he'd seemed eager to begin a new blended family with me. What could have changed so drastically? "Darian, listen to me," I plead urgently. "You're not thinking clearly. Please, let's go home and talk about this." His expression hardens. "I'm through talking. It's over, Leela," he repeats coldly. "You're on your own now." Panic surges through me as the car door slams shut. "Darian, no! What am I supposed to do out here?" I shout desperately. He regards me impassively through the window. "Figure it out, but don't come looking for me or Tessa again." With those final callous words, he shifts the car into drive and speeds off, leaving me stranded and alone on the desolate road as snow flurries begin to fall. I struggle unsteadily to my feet, one hand on my belly as I gaze desperately down the empty road. Nothing but bare fields and forest as far as I can see. No houses or buildings anywhere in sight. I feel dizzy with disbelief and betrayal. How could Darian do this? Abandon his pregnant wife by the roadside in the dead of winter? What lies had he told himself to justify such cruelty? My heart pounds with building panic. Night is falling fast, and the temperature is dropping dangerously low. I need to find help soon, or I'll freeze out here. Gritting my teeth with determination, I start slowly walking down the long, lonely road. One hand braces my aching back, while the other cradles my belly, as if shielding my unborn child from its father's betrayal. Snowflakes cling to my eyelashes as angry, confused thoughts swirl through my mind. What could have poisoned Darian against me? What could have corrupted his love into such heartlessness? I remember Tessa's deepening sullenness in recent months, her heated arguments with Darian behind closed doors. Could his teenage daughter have turned him against me? A sharp pang shoots through my abdomen, making me gasp. The baby shifts inside me, blissfully unaware of their father's cruelty. An unexpected wave of fierce protectiveness surges through me. No matter what happens, I will protect this child with everything I have. Gritting my teeth against the pain, I continue my slow trudge through the deepening snow. The full reality of my situation threatens to overwhelm me, but I force it down. I can't give in to fear and despair now. My child's life depends on my survival tonight. Somehow, against all odds, I have to endure this bitter storm. For my baby's sake, giving up is not an option. The bright morning sun filters through the bedroom window as I slowly open my eyes. For a brief, blissful moment, the memory of yesterday's horrors haven't yet pierced through the haze of waking. Then it hits me. The bitter cold, the deserted roadside, Darian's cruel abandonment. My heart sinks as the stark reality settles over me once more. I'm now trapped in a fractured family, my once happy home darkened by distrust and resentment. With a heavy sigh, I push myself up and get ready to face this new, unwelcome chapter of my life. Downstairs, I can hear Tessa's angry voice rising as she argues with Darian in the kitchen. Lately, it seems all they do is fight. "It's not fair. She's ruining everything," Tessa yells shrilly. "Lower your voice," Darian hisses. "Lila has a right to be here." "No, she doesn't," Tessa retorts. "She's not my mom, and she never will be." Their words pierce my heart like an icy dagger. When Darian and I married last year, I hoped Tessa would eventually warm up to me, but the harder I've tried to connect with her, the more hostile she's become. I pause outside the kitchen door, hesitating. I know I should go in and try to diffuse the conflict, but suddenly I'm just so weary of it all. Maybe some distance is what we need right now. Quietly, I slip out the front door unnoticed. The autumn breeze is refreshingly cool on my face as I meander aimlessly around the neighborhood. I think back to when Darian and I first met, how optimistic I was then. He seemed so charming and gallant, lavishing me with affection. After losing my first husband, I leapt at the second chance Darian offered for love and family. But now, doubts begin to nag at me. Was it all just an illusion? A fantasy I constructed from my own loneliness and longings? In the beginning, Tessa's moodiness didn't faze me. She was just a sullen teenager struggling with her mother's death. Nothing I didn't expect. But lately, her anger seems to go deeper. And the way Darian brushes off her rude behavior, making excuses for her, it started to disturb me. The vibrating cell phone in my pocket startles me from my thoughts. It's a terse text from Darian. "Where are you?" I quickly type a reply. "Just went for a walk to clear my head." His response is immediate. "We need to talk when you get home. Don't disappear again." A twitch of annoyance flickers through me at his commanding tone. I'm not a child who needs scolding. I resist the urge to say as much, instead simply replying, "Okay." But a small ember of resentment ignites inside me. Lately, all our interactions seem laced with irritation. By the time I return home, Tessa's anger appears to have cooled, though she pointedly ignores me. Darian fixes me with a stern gaze. "We were waiting for you," he says tightly. "Tessa's late for school now." "Sorry, I just needed some space," I reply, striving to keep my voice light. Darian shakes his head. "That's not how this works. We're supposed to be a family." "Some family," Tessa mutters under her breath, stomping out the door. His words spark that ember inside me into a small flame. "We can't force this, Darian. It takes time." He frowns, an undercurrent of impatience in his tone. "Maybe if you tried harder with her instead of just walking away." The flame flickers hotter, but I bite my tongue. Arguing will only make things worse, for now anyway. Darian sighs, his face softening. "Look, let's just start fresh tonight, okay? I made dinner reservations for the three of us. We'll work through this." I nod, the fire inside me momentarily calmed. But as he kisses my cheek and heads out the door, a voice whispers in my mind. Fresh starts require effort from everyone involved. If Darian and Tessa refuse to meet me halfway, this fractured family may never be mended at all. The sound of glass shattering pierces the tense silence that hangs over the dinner table. Tessa stands poised with another wineglass gripped tightly in her hand, eyes blazing. "That's enough!" I yell, my simmering anger finally spilling over at her latest juvenile outburst. "What is your problem?" "You are," Tessa shouts back bitterly. "I wish you would just disappear." I turn desperately to Darian, waiting for him to step in and discipline his destructive daughter, but he just sits there silently, avoiding eye contact. My heart sinks. How could he just let her talk to me that way? Where is the man who passionately declared his love and devotion just a year ago? Was it all just sweet lies and empty promises? "Darian, say something," I implore, my voice breaking. He shakes his head. "This is between you two. Don't drag me into it." His response lands like a punch to the gut. I came here hoping tonight would be a fresh start, but instead I now see our relationship for the charade it truly is. Darian plays the doting husband in public, but where it counts, his loyalty is only to Tessa. That's right, stay out of it. Tessa sneers at her father before turning her venom on me. "We were better off before you came along." Anger and despair roil inside me. I push back my chair and stand abruptly. Since I'm clearly not wanted here, I'll just go. As I grab my purse to leave, Tessa shouts after me, "Don't bother coming back." I don't look back, my vision blurring with stinging tears as I flee the restaurant. So this is what my marriage has become, a shattered illusion. All Darian's promises were meaningless. His priority will always be coddling his insolent daughter rather than building a loving relationship. Outside, I fumble to unlock my car with trembling hands. Before I can open the door, Darian comes rushing out. "Lila, wait," he calls after me, grasping my shoulder. "Don't run off again." I whirl around angrily. "Run off? I'm trying to remove myself from a toxic situation that you continue to enable." Darian presses his lips together. "Now you're just overreacting. Tessa is a teenager. You can't take what she says personally." "It's not just what she says. I interject, unable to hold back months of pent-up hurt and frustration. It's how you never stand up for me, no matter what she does. It's how you brush off her awful behavior and break promises to spend time together. It's how I always come last with you. My outburst lands heavily in the tense space between us. Darian's brow furrows as he takes a step back, his expression shifting from impatience to disbelief. Is that really how you feel? He asks quietly. That you come last? Yes, I state frankly, my voice raw but firm. It's exactly how I feel. Darian looks down, conflicted emotions playing across his face. Irritation, shame, and something else I can't quite place. When he finally looks back up at me, his eyes are cold. I think you should stay somewhere else tonight, he says evenly. Maybe some time apart will give you a chance to gain some perspective. His detached demeanor sends a chill through me. I search his face for any hint of the affection we once shared, but find none. In this moment, I realize any shred of hope for our marriage is truly lost. He isn't the man I thought I married. Everything between us has been shattered. Numbly, I get into my car without another word. As I pull away, I catch a glimpse of Tessa watching smugly from the restaurant window, her arms crossed in satisfied triumph. Speeding into the night, despair threatens to engulf me, but I force it back down. I refuse to be crushed by their callous manipulations. They want me gone? Fine, I'll go. But not before I expose Darian's lies and make him account for the way he's destroyed what we once had. I may not be his priority anymore, but he's about to learn I won't be tossed aside so easily. A sharp twinge in my belly pulls me from restless slumber. I glance over at the nightstand clock, 7:12 a.m. Still over 3 weeks until my due date, yet Braxton Hicks' contractions have become my not-so-subtle wake-up call recently. I sigh, shifting my awkward pregnant body to sit up in bed when another cramping pain grips my abdomen. I freeze. That one felt different. Sharper, real. No false alarm this time. Sliding my feet to the floor, I breathe through the intensifying contractions, timing them in my head, 8 minutes apart, and getting closer. There's no denying it, my baby is coming today. Adrenaline flooding my veins, I waddle downstairs as quickly as I can. Darian sits sipping coffee at the kitchen table, thumbing his phone screen. He glances up casually as I enter. My contractions have started, I announce without preamble. The baby's coming. What? Now? Darian fumbles his phone, nearly spilling his coffee. I nod. My water will probably break soon. We need to get to the hospital. Right, of course. He jumps into action, grabbing the pre-packed hospital bag. Tessa appears in the doorway, hair still tangled from sleep. What's going on? She mumbles grumpily. The baby's coming, Darian replies as he helps me into my coat. Let's go. Tessa's scowl deepens. Today? Couldn't you have scheduled this better? I bite my tongue, refusing to waste energy on her sullen tantrums right now. The drive to the hospital passes in a blur of breathed counting and winces. The contractions come relentlessly now, 5 minutes apart. We've just parked when warm liquid gushes down my legs, my water breaking unceremoniously in the passenger seat. Darian's brow pinches with impatience. Really, Lila? You couldn't even wait until we got inside? I repeat my new coping mantra. Ignore him. Let nothing distract from bringing this child into the world. Getting admitted and settled into a delivery room takes less than 20 minutes. My doctor arrives shortly after, cheerily announcing I'm already 8 centimeters dilated. This baby wants out quick, she says breezily. Just a bit more to go. The next hour feels endless when the merciful words finally come. It's time to push. I bear down with everything in me. Darian holds my hand, but his face reflects distaste, not loving support. Tessa slouches in the corner, tuned out on her headphones. Their indifference fuels me. I don't need them. With a final primal scream, my daughter slides into the world. The doctor lays her gently on my chest, crying but gloriously beautiful. Nothing else matters now but her. Later, a nurse takes the baby to the nursery so I can rest. Darian and Tessa's uncharacteristic helpfulness continues, raising my suspicions. When a nurse brings the discharge paperwork, my fears are confirmed. Darian has arranged our suspiciously early release for this evening. The drive home is quiet, my anxiety building. Darian seems to sense my unease. Don't worry, he says smoothly. The 3 of us will take good care of you. Tessa nods exaggeratedly. Just relax. We'll handle everything. Their solicitousness feels off, a trap waiting to be sprung. My instincts prove right. As soon as we pull up to the dark, empty house, Darian turns to me with an odd smile. "Time for you to go," he says casually, as if discussing the weather. "Go?" Panic slices through me. I look down where my precious newborn sleeps in her car seat. "What do you mean, go?" "I just gave birth. We have a new baby." My voice pitches with confusion and fear. Darian shrugs. "Not my problem. She's your burden now." With that, he and Tessa exit the car, grab the bags, and disappear into the house. The engine starts up again as my mind reels, trying to process what is happening. They're leaving us, dumping a new mother and baby on the roadside in the dead of night. My blood turns to ice in my veins. Any shred of remaining love or hope dies. As we pull away, Darian glances back with a strange smile. In his eyes, I see nothing but emptiness. The slamming of the car door echoes with cruel finality, plunging me into sudden silence. Shock paralyzes me momentarily as the red taillights disappear into the darkness. Then the piercing wail from the back seat jolts me to my senses. My daughter, wet, hungry, and terrified in the abandoned car. Adrenaline surges through my exhausted body, overriding my pain and fear. I twist awkwardly to reach her, every nerve focused solely on comforting my helpless child, relying solely on me now. Her cries escalate desperately. "Shh, I'm here," I soothe. My hands shake as I lift her tiny body into my arms. Frantic, I search the discarded diaper bag only to find it empty, except for a couple of diapers. No formula, no bottles. They clearly planned this abandonment. Panic rises in my chest. The neighborhood is eerily quiet, most houses already dark. We need to get out of this exposed car and find safety immediately. Gritting my teeth, I push open the door. My body screams in protest as I force it upright, clutching my screaming newborn close to my chest. I glance around wildly. No pedestrians, no lights on in the nearby homes. Utterly devoid of any signs of life or help. Picking a direction on numb legs, I start walking slowly. Each small step ignites fire in my lower half, but I force myself forward. My daughter's small body feels impossibly heavy in my weak arms. Her cries saw at my soul, each one shattering my already fractured heart. Bleak thoughts threaten to overwhelm my spirit. We'll never make it. I'll collapse on some dark sidewalk, and my helpless infant will wail into the silent night until death claims us both. Abandoned and forgotten, like trivial trash, despair coils around me, but I push back against its smothering grip. No, I refuse to surrender to their cruelty. I will dig deep and find strength I never knew I had. For this innocent baby who needs me, giving up is not an option. As I shuffle along, gritting my teeth against the pain, anger begins simmering inside me. Anger at Darian's callous betrayal mere hours after I bore his child. Anger at Tessa for her impudent smugness, hungry for my destruction. Their sick schemes against me may have succeeded tonight, but I vow to myself this is not over. My senses come alive, rage and adrenaline coursing through me, overpowering my pain and fear. They think they've broken me, left me and my daughter for dead. But what they've done is awoken a ferocious mother bear whose cub has been threatened. A distant glow appears around a street corner ahead, silhouetting the unmistakable shape of a gas station. Hope surges within me. Gripping my daughter tightly, I push forward with new purpose until I can make out the glowing, open 24 hours sign. Bursting through the doors, I stumble tearfully up to the register where a startled attendant gapes at me. Undoubtedly, I paint a crazed picture. Hospital gown soaked with blood and sweat, wailing bundle clutched frantically in my arms. "Please, I've just given birth and been abandoned," I gasp out. "I need an ambulance for me and my baby." His eyes widen in alarm, and he rushes to phone for help. Soon paramedics arrive, wrapping us in blankets and swiftly carrying us to the waiting ambulance outside. As the vehicle speeds towards the hospital, I look down at my daughter's exhausted but peaceful face, her cries now soothed for the moment. Her tiny rosebud lips purse in her sleep, blissfully unaware of the storm we've just endured. A powerful swell of love and courage fortifies my resolve. Darian and Tessa wanted to break me, but they've only unleashed the ferocious strength of a mother's love. For this innocent child, I will fight for justice, both in the hospital delivery room and the courtrooms of law. The reckoning is coming. The persistent vibration of my cell phone pierces the haze of fitful hospital sleep. Blindly reaching for it, Darian's name flashing across the screen ignites instant fury within me. I steel myself before answering with false sweetness. Hello, darling. Lila. Darian's voice comes clipped and tense. Where are you? Where do you think? I reply coolly. The hospital, since you dumped me by the roadside right after I gave birth. I relish the sharp intake of breath on the line. He recovers quickly. Don't be so dramatic. We simply had a disagreement. I clench my phone tightly. Is that what you call abandoning your newborn child? A disagreement? Silence. I forge on, my anger spilling forth. You left me with nothing. Not a cent for medical bills, not a single diaper for the baby. You heartless monster. Darian sighs impatience. Lila, listen. I cut him off sharply. No, you listen. I've listened and believed your lies for too long. Now the truth will be heard. I take a breath, lowering my voice to a threatening hiss. You've mistreated and manipulated me for the last time. I'm filing for divorce first thing tomorrow, and I'm going after full custody. You don't deserve to even look at our child after what you did. Panic finally cracks through his cool facade. Whoa now, let's not be hasty. Think about what's best for the child. I am thinking about what's best for her, I interject forcefully. And it's sure as hell not an absentee father who dumps his family by the wayside. Darian's breath comes faster, his voice taking on a desperate edge. Lila, for the sake of our family, I'm begging you, please reconsider this. Tessa needs a father and I need you both. His pleading strikes a chord despite myself. I think of our sweet early days together, before it all unraveled. Could he truly still care beneath the cruelty? No. I shake off the momentary doubt. Kind words can't erase his actions. Should have thought of that before, I reply coldly. Our family is finished. I'm exposing the truth about you, Darian. The lies stop here. I unleash every pent-up accusation, watching as each lands like a blow. His reckless financial history, womanizing past, all the secrets he foolishly confessed during vulnerable moments in the early bliss of our union. I held them in confidence then, but now ruthlessly exploit each ugly revelation from his closet of shame and deceit. With savage satisfaction, I listen to his sputtering denials slowly peter out. When I finally relent, the line is silent for several long moments. When Darian's voice comes again, all previous silkiness is gone. You'll regret this, Lila, he says, low and dangerous. I promise you that. A chill runs down my spine at the unveiled threat, but I force boldness into my tone. Do your worst. You can't hide the truth anymore. I wait, listening to his agitated, retreating footsteps and muffled voices. Tessa, my gut twists involuntarily, remembering how we once laughed over wine, her confiding teenage dreams to me like a girlfriend. Nostalgia is quickly extinguished as Tessa's shrill voice carries through. Is it true, Dad? Are we broke? Their argument continues escalating while I listen placidly. Darian's about to learn his precious daughter makes a fearsome foe when her comforts are threatened. Soon, Tessa's shrieking accusations and Darian's helpless flustered defenses tell me everything I need to know. My dagger hit its mark. With his sordid secrets exposed, Darian's web of lies is unraveling fast. I end the call just as Tessa screams tearfully about calling Grandpa for money. Let her fully glimpse the dark truth about her fallen hero father and his empty promises. Leaning back, I take a deep, satisfied breath for the first time in months and release it slowly. The anticipation building within me now is not anxiety, but sweet victory. Darian's feigned contrition just confirmed his mask has finally slipped for good. He'll be back soon with legal threats and smooth excuses, but it's too late. His duplicity stands fully exposed in the light of truth. Justice may move slowly, but when it comes for men like him, it comes with teeth. And I will savor watching every last shred of his web torn violently apart. My footsteps echo through the marble courthouse hall, steady and resolute. At the large wooden doors I pause, straightening my smart black suit before entering the courtroom. Today is Judgment Day, and I am ready. I take my seat beside my lawyers, arranging my face into an expressionless mask. Moments later, Darian slinks in, looking haggard. His eyes widen almost comically when they land on me. He quickly recovers, pasting on a cocky smile as he approaches the defendant's table. Lila, he greets smoothly with false warmth. You're looking well. Motherhood must agree with you. I stare straight ahead, letting his act splatter emptily around me. The bailiff calls court into session. Showtime. As opening arguments commence, a strange, dissociated feeling washes over me. After months of draining depositions, paperwork battles, and attorney meetings, this almost feels anticlimactic. The grinding wheels of justice move slowly. Now, finally, we've arrived at the reckoning. Darian grows visibly uneasy as my lawyers methodically lay out his misdeeds: financial irresponsibility, neglect, abandonment. His charming grin slips, forehead beading with sweat. Good. Let him squirm. My testimony comes next, recounting the painful facts without gloss or emotion. The judge's expression hardens as I describe being left by the roadside with minutes-old newborn. I catch the flash of anger and disgust he quickly smooths over. Excellent. I keep my gaze forward when Darian takes the stand, spouting well-rehearsed excuses about miscommunications and mental stresses. When prodded on cross-examination, though, his smooth facade begins to crack. Why did you arrange your wife and child's premature discharge from the hospital? I was overwhelmed, needed some space to adjust. So rather than communicating that, you misled hospital staff regarding your home support capabilities? A damning silence. I conceal a satisfied smile. The judge looks sternly down at Darian. You will answer the question directly. Yes, Your Honor. Watching Darian's squirming denials under oath, I feel nothing but cool contempt. Any lingering sadness over our dissolved union dried up long ago. Now only crystalline clarity remains. In the end, the truth prevails. The judge rules fully in my favor. Divorce granted, full custody of my daughter awarded, severe financial penalties for Darian's conduct. His ashen face as the gavel pounds says it all. Outside court, I stride straight past Darian's hunched figure without a glance. We have nothing left to say to each other now. Let him wallow in the wreckage of his own making. In the following weeks, I receive sporadic, pleading calls from Darian, professing his deep remorse and vowing to make amends. They go straight to voicemail, unanswered. His desperate attempts at reconciliation now come far too late. That ship has sunk. Occasionally, Tessa's number flashes as well. I let those go silent. She made her feelings crystal clear long ago. My focus stays fixed on my daughter and our new, peaceful life together. Darian's poisonous presence has been excised from our world. The private investigator's reports bring satisfying updates over the ensuing months. Darian's lavish house soon goes to foreclosure auction, his shiny sports car repossessed. His business falters and fails without my assets propping it up. Inevitable consequences once his source of easy money dried up with our divorce. Tessa ends up moving in with her grandparents, abandoning the father she once defended so ardently. Perhaps she has glimpsed his true colors at last. If so, the revelation comes far too late to change anything now. As I cradle my sleeping baby's perfect face in the gentle darkness, I feel only profound gratitude. We endured the crucible and emerged wiser, stronger. Justice is not about revenge or vindictiveness, but truth and consequences. I take no pleasure in Darian's suffering, only deep peace in knowing right has prevailed over wrong. His life now stands wholly in his own hands to rebuild or ruin. Ours, however, gleams bright with hope. The storm has passed, the rain clouds shifted, revealing clearer skies ahead. The rest unfurls day by day in beautiful mundane mystery. And come what may, anchored in fierce love, we soar on toward the light together. A persistent ray of morning sunlight across my face gently pulls me from sleep. As consciousness returns, for a few hazy moments the warm bundle nestled against my chest makes me smile instinctively before memory fully surfaces. My eyes blink open and I gaze down at my slumbering daughter. Her perfect rosebud lips purse and suckle softly, tiny hands curled into trusting fists tucked under her chin. Watching her, my heart aches with fierce love and gratitude. After everything we endured together, these quiet moments of peace are the sweetest gift. The nightmarish first weeks home from the hospital now feel lifetimes ago. Caring for a newborn alone while recovering physically and emotionally tested my endurance like nothing before. But each of baby's smiles, coos, and snuggles kept me resolutely putting one foot in front of the other. We persisted through the darkness together, step by step, until we emerged into the light of a new beginning. Our own little family, bound forever by the unbreakable cord of mother and child. My parents have been a steady, loving support through it all. Their pride and joy in their new granddaughter nourishes all our spirits. And Darian's kind parents, once they learned the full truth, apologized sincerely for their son's reprehensible behavior and have become like family to us as well. Blood bonds, but love and decency run deeper. Rolling gently out of bed so as not to wake the baby, I follow the appetizing aromas wafting down the hall to the kitchen. Pouring myself some coffee, I join Mom at the table. "Sleep well?" she asks, smiling. Like a log once the little milk monster drifted off," I chuckle. Mom smiles knowingly, but her eyes remain serious. "How are you feeling about today?" I take a thoughtful sip of coffee as my mind turns to the scheduled court appearance this afternoon. A formality, the lawyers assure me, just to finalize some lingering divorce details. Still, the prospect of seeing Darian again after months elicits a swirl of emotions I can't quite distill. "I'm okay," I reply slowly. "It will be strange, but I'm ready for whatever happens." Mom nods approvingly, squeezing my hand. "You've come so far, sweetheart. Stay strong." Her steady faith and pride in me brings a lump to my throat. I am forever grateful not just for her endless support these past months, but her modeling of courage and resilience through challenges in our lives. She is the embodiment of grace under fire. Later at the courthouse, I keep my shoulders straight and head high as we enter the now familiar courtroom. Darian sits at the defendant's table, looking pale and gaunt. His eyes widen when he sees me, then quickly dart away. The swaggering bravado I once knew is gone, replaced by defeat. The legal proceedings go smoothly with no surprises. Afterwards, Mom and the attorneys chat approvingly about how strong my case remains. But I'm only half listening. Across the room, Darian stands sluggishly, looking shaken as his lawyer explains next steps. For a moment our eyes meet, and I see above all profound sadness there. Despite everything, my heart twinges involuntarily. But when Darian takes a step toward me, I turn away. That tempestuous chapter of my life is firmly closed. My future now lies along much gentler winds. Walking tall out into the golden afternoon light, I feel solemn but peaceful closure. Justice has prevailed. Bitterness is diminished. Life moves forward. Darian alone chooses